As this situation spiraled out of control and both Amber Heard's attorney and the judge had to politely ask Amber to shut up and just answer the questions Camille was asking, Amber ended up pissing the judge off and an awkward moment ensued. The one where Amber ended up being scolded by the most important figure in the room, the judge. What exactly did she tell her and how did Amber react? Stay so you don't miss all the details on this embarrassing scene. Heard testified a second time as the last witness, where she was questioned about witnesses who testified in Depp's case and disputed her account of events. The number of people who consented to speak on his behalf, according to Heard, did not surprise her. "I know many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power," Heard testified. "That's why I wrote the op-ed. I was speaking about that phenomenon, how many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his power. He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men." Depp is suing Heard for $50 million, alleging that an op-ed she wrote in the Washington Post in 2018, in which she referred to herself as a public figure representing domestic abuse, defamed him and caused him to lose out on work. Heard countersued for slander in the amount of $100 million. "I am harassed, humiliated, threatened every single day. Even just walking into this courtroom, sitting here in front of the world, having the worst parts of my life, things I've lived through, used to humiliate me," Heard testified. "People want to kill me, and they tell me so every day. People want to put my baby in the microwave, and they tell me that." Heard's concluding statements to the jury were about the impact the accusations that her abuse claims were fake had on her life. "Johnny promised me he would ruin me, that he'd ruin my career, he'd take my life from me. Death was the only way out," Heard said. "And if I got out, this is what he would do to me. He would make me think of him every single day. He promised me global humiliation. You saw those texts." We'll tell you the most iconic moments of Amber's testimonials and how she ended up in a situation when the judge scolded her.
This is not
we had no reason to
Move
believe
to
the
strike.
press knew.
And Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can, and Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
Well, I'll strike the last part as non-responsive. Just if you could just answer the questions asked. Okay? Thank you, Ms. Heard.
Heard claimed Depp attacked and mistreated her numerous times while on the stand, and her evidence was frequently vivid. She also discussed how they met and how their love developed. Heard said her first meeting with Depp was unusual and remarkable. Heard claimed she had gone to Depp's office to audition for a film he was producing, but it turned out to be a long meeting where they connected over literature, music, and poetry. She described it as unusual since, while she wasn't a fan of Depp, she recognized him as one of the world's most famous actors. We want to make a parenthesis in this quote because Amber was a fan of Johnny Depp, and there's even an interview that proves it. Here is one of the many inconsistencies in the actress's testimonies. "So it was already a weird thing to go and get called in his office. I'm a no-name actor," she said. "I was 22, I think. I thought it was unusual. It was weird because he was twice my age and a world-famous actor, and here we are getting along about obscure books and old blues. I thought it was remarkable. I thought it was unusual and remarkable. I left there feeling like, wow." But remember, that was not what she said the first time. Another fascinating account, a photo of a bruise on Heard's arm was presented, which she said was created by Depp during a previous violent argument. She described the incident that allegedly caused it, alleging that Depp smacked her and that walking away made things worse. "We got into a shouting match, and he kind of did this thing with his body where I could tell he was going to hit me again," she said. Heard claimed she picked up a vase and hurled it at Depp, and actually managed to get away before he got me. "He grabbed me by the arm and he kind of held me on the floor, screaming at me. I don't remember how many times he hit me in the face, but I remember being on the floor of my apartment, and I remember thinking, how could this happen to me again?" she said. Continuing with her strange stories, here we get confused because Depp was the love of her life, but Heard also said he was this other thing that was awful. And that other thing was this awful, awful thing that would come out and take over. And it was, you couldn't see underneath the Johnny I loved, Heard said. Depp, she claimed, would pass out in his own vomit, lose control of his body, and have others clean up after him, including her. "I mean, this man lost control of his bowels and I cleaned up after him. His security cleaned up after him, changed his pants in front of me. He would pass out in his own sick," she said. Heard went on to say that Depp would get clean and sober before returning to make her feel loved. Heard considered leaving Depp, but was unable to do so. "When Johnny was in that period of getting clean and sober, he would tell me, 'You saved my life. Baby girl, you saved my life,'" she stated. Depp allegedly threatened that he could murder her, according to Heard. Heard claims that during a family vacation on a yacht, Depp believed she told his children that he was a drunk, which led to a physical argument and Depp threatening to fucking kill her. Hurt stated that she and Depp's daughter, Lily Rose, had not been discussing Depp's drinking. Nonetheless, he accused her of doing so and became enraged. "So I was trying to tell him, I was trying to comfort her, I was trying to protect you. He basically was accusing me of doing this thing and making them aware that he was drinking again. And he slams me up against the side wall of the bedroom, slams me up by my neck, and holds me there for a second and tells me that he could fucking kill me," Hurt said. Depp allegedly called her an embarrassment, which he said wounded her more than the purported threat. "I'm in love with his whole family now," she explained. "And he's saying I'm an embarrassment to him, and it's somehow stuck in my head more than the 'I can fucking kill you.' It just sounded like a hyperbole, sounded like something he was just saying, but the names he was calling me and pushing me up against the wall by my neck, it hurt my feelings, it hurt." Finally, she explained how they met and fell in love. At the start of their relationship, Hurt described romantic encounters with Depp. "I remember he took the foil off of this bottle and put it on my ring finger," she said. "And I had only been with him days, maybe it was weeks at the time, but it just felt very intense." The couple hid these places around the world at the beginning of their relationship, residing in Depp's houses. It was a little bubble of secrecy, she claimed. "We had this beautiful, in less than a week probably, a trip to the Bahamas on this private island with sandy beaches. It is a scene I'd never experienced anything like that," she said. She described Depp as generous, even saying he was overly generous at times. "I am talking about these extravagant trips or these gestures. It was a lot," she said of her ex-husband. "He did that a lot with my friends. I rely heavily on my friends and had a very strong support network with them, and he really showered them with generosity and love and light. Invited them to come to these exotic places with food and was just incredibly generous. Incredibly." However, during her testimonies, Amber tried to avoid questions and some comments from Johnny's lawyers, and even deviated from the answers she was supposed to give. Some of them a simple yes or no, something that both fans and lawyers and the jury interpreted as a way to avoid answers that did not suit her, until Camille exploded and got fed up with the childishness of this actress, and asked the judge not only to ask her to answer her questions, but also to respect the conversation and the flow that was taking place. However, the judge was also fed up and opted not only to tell her to answer the questions as requested, but also to tell her, "Know your place, you are on the stand, you have no right to deviate from the questions." This left Amber with a very obvious fact that she had not liked the comment. For the time being, the balance leans towards Johnny, since in court it could be shown that Amber did physically abuse Johnny, and this gave him many points in his favor. What do you think? Do you think Amber is guilty? Are you Team Johnny? Leave us your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the other videos about this controversial trial, and none about your other favorite celebs. See you in the next video.